Oh, welcome to Trade Waiting. This is a Patreon exclusive series, I think.
Yeah, where me and Charles are going to talk about comic books, and you're going to fucking like it.
Yeah.
You're going to sit there and you're going to take it, and you're going to enjoy it. Take that.
Sounds like a typical Saturday night for me.
Yeah, right.
Sounds like a Chris Hardwick night.
And you're going to enjoy it. Fresh off the Chris Hardwick episode.
Yeah.
Where we hardly talked about Chris Hardwick.
Yeah, it was more of a Derek Jeter episode somehow.
You know, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what trade waiting is, it's for people like me that wait for a full series to come out into a larger paperback form because they don't want to buy individual comics.
That makes sense.
Because that's what I do.
That's like me.
Because I'm an asshole.
And I do that with TV shows sometimes, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the
Just
comic
wait.
version of binge watching.
I don't, yeah.
I'll wait until it's on Netflix.
I don't want to wait week by week. I want to read it all at once.
Yeah.
So I just thought this was kind of funny. Is like while I was Googling what that actually meant, because apparently Charles knows a lot more about comics than I do, which is true. I found a Reddit post.
Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah.
I've been trade waiting for the entire 9-series Star Wars movies to finish. So that I can just binge watch all 9.
Come on,
movies.
Rian Johnson or whoever is doing. No, who's doing 9?
It's
Is it
J.J.
Rian?
Abrams.
J.J. Abrams. That's right.
So, good luck with that.
I've heard that 1 out of 3 movies is good so far. A third of the 8.
That's pretty accurate.
That's for next.
But you know
week's
what?
episode.
That's a discussion for later.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, we'll do some Star Wars, man.
We'll do Star Wars.
I guarantee it.
So there was a Reddit post that said, "Is trade waiting hurting comics?" I've heard a few people saying that trade waiting, which is waiting for comics to come out in paperback, can damage a comic series. Like the series gets canceled. Is this true? Are there any publishers that this is or doesn't apply to? I thought Image was better than the rest with this sort of thing, but I may be wrong. If this is the case, I'll stop waiting for a few titles. And the first response on here I thought was absolutely perfect because it sounds like something I would say. You should not feel compelled to change your buying habits to keep publishers from canceling a comic series. Look, if they didn't want people to buy them in collected series, they wouldn't release them in collected series.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, I think it also depends on how quickly they release the trades. So, like, Image is usually pretty quick with getting their trades out, and Marvel's pretty quick about it too. So, like, you have to wait like a couple months, and then there's a trade out. But if it's a case where they're like DC used to be, like where a trade would come out like
3 years later,
7 months after that original issue or that original set of issues came out, then yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, because then you can't talk about it.
Yeah,
You gotta wait. Or you gotta go spend $6 on each individual book.
Yeah, comics are way too expensive.
Or use
now.
Comixology and read them whenever you want, except for a lot of, what is it, DC books or Marvel books?
No DC.
Oh, yeah, DC books, yeah.
Yeah, DC doesn't fuck with anybody.
Or just like buddy up to someone who buys the trades and then borrow them from them.
Yeah.
That's what I did with The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I borrowed all of them from Matt.
I borrowed all the Preacher trades, actually the hard books, but all the like Why the Last Man trades from him.
Oh, yeah, I borrowed a Preacher from him, too.
Like, I mean, and I never would have even known about them if not for him. He's like, oh, check this out. And those were 2 phenomenal series.
He's like, hey, you like violence? You're going to love this.
Yeah.
God bites this dude's eyeball out.
Yeah. Like, I actually, like, Rachel has read, like, 3/4 of Preacher.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, obviously you've met her. She doesn't seem like the comic book type.
Yeah.
But, yeah, she read it because I just like, here are the trades.
Well, that's like my ex. She didn't read comics, but she really liked Crossed.
Really?
Yeah, because it's just hyper violent.
Yeah,
it
it's
is, man,
ridiculous.
it is fucked up because she likes horror movies.
I had my mom read Why the Last Man.
Yeah.
And she loved it.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
That's an incredible
I think
story.
a lot of people don't realize that comic books aren't all just Batman and Superman.
They're
Yeah,
not all just
there's a
dumbass
wide
superheroes.
range.
There's
Yeah.
some amazing stories being told out there.
Yeah.
And one of those is East of West.
Yeah.
I think Charles had me read, which is the first one we're going to talk about because it was really fun. It was good.
Yeah,
so
it's
far
fucking
it's still
great, man.
going.
Man. So to kind of give you some background, it's written by this guy, Jonathan Hickman.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of my favorite writers in comic books right now. All of his stories are just really fucking just out there. Like they're like you could say high concept type stuff, and they are best read by waiting for the trades because dude writes like 75 different series.
Yeah, I can't imagine reading like 30 pages of this or 20 pages and being like, all right, what's next? Now I got to wait.
Well, what's worse is that a lot of his series aren't on a monthly schedule. So like you'll get an episode you'll get an issue this month, and then there won't be another one out for like 3-4 months.
Oh, that would suck.
Yeah,
Definitely wait for the
Yeah.
trades on that one.
That's what I'm doing with East of West. I'm trade waiting hard on that.
Yeah.
Because like all the stories are just written in such a way where you need to have the next chapter as soon as you can.
Because even with the trades, like I read them all in like 6 hours.
Yeah.
I stayed up super late. I was like, man, this is like getting good.
It's fucking good.
I want to
man.
see the next one and the next one and the next one, and then now it's over. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. But to kind of spread out the concept, it's an alternate history type thing, right?
Yeah, where America has kind of broken up into, is it 4 different sections?
No, it's like 4 or 5, yeah.
Is it 4 or 5? There's the Confederacy, and there's just Texas.
Yeah, Texas is its own country.
There's Texas.
Okay.
There's like the West Coast is like it's new
new
Asia.
China.
It's pretty much like China.
Yeah.
It's like a new China, and then there's
the Endless Nation. That's
yeah,
the natives.
the natives, and then there's whatever's up in the
Yeah.
northeast.
I think it's,
So
it's
that's
something
5.
generic like the Empire. Or the City or
Yeah,
something
that's like the
that.
capital. Those
What
are
do you
like
mean
the
5?
Oh, and
Americans.
In New Orleans
5?
is basically its own thing.
Oh yeah, New Orleans. They have their own
6.
thing. Is that 6?
Yeah, it's 6.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So the Americas were kind of split up into the. So there was a.
America's pretty big. It
Yeah.
doesn't need to
When
be
did all this happen? After the Civil War?
It was in the middle of the Civil War.
Civil War.
So in this telling of history, the Civil War drags on way longer than it normally does.
Okay.
And there were already like factions breaking off. Like Texas decided they were going to do their own thing. And like obviously everybody split off.
Sure.
In the middle of the Civil War, China invades the U.S. And since we can't actually fight back,
Wow.
like China literally just takes like the entirety of the Western U.S.
Okay.
So in the middle of them all fighting, a comet strikes the Earth.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
Because why not?
right.
This isn't just alternate history. This
Yeah,
is like
it's really weird.
real alternate.
And like this happens like again at the time of the Civil War, so this is like late 1800s, early 1900s. So
Yeah.
nobody really knows how to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
So the representatives of all the nations meet up at the comet, and they secretly launch their own religion surrounding a prophecy from that comet, and they basically try to further the apocalypse. And it also posits that the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are actually real people,
Okay.
and they live out lives, and they can be killed.
So the religion they build doesn't posit that. The comic posits that.
Both.
Yeah, the comic is based on the religion that believes this thing, which is true. I guess they don't believe the thing because it's
Yeah,
real.
it's
real
really
thing.
true.
So there really are 4 horsemen.
There really
Yes.
are 4 horsemen.
And they live out lives.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're waiting for them to come back.
When they die, are they reborn?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the thing. They're like reborn as like children.
So they live like the normal lifespan of a human.
Yeah.
Probably a little longer. Like
Okay.
they're superhuman.
Okay.
So
yeah, because death has been around the whole time.
yeah, so that's
So
where
in the 1800s, they lived to be like 70.
I guess.
It's a little longer than the normal.
I
human.
mean, this is set
I don't
like
know. Death looks like he's pushing 40.
yeah,
He looks good for a man his age.
pretty good. But the series itself is set like a couple hundred years after that actually happened. It's like there have been generations of this passed down, and the main character is actually Death. So Death was one of the 4 horsemen. He actually fell in love with a human and had a child, and that technically fulfills part of the prophecy because he's supposed to give birth to the Antichrist that brings the apocalypse. So he ends up turning against the other 3 horsemen. They die and come back, but he was alive the entire time.
So they come back they're like 8 or something when they come back.
like
they're like little kids.
They're like
Hold on.
hilariously small children.
they're reborn as 8-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't get born. They're like
Okay.
congealed somewhere.
They
Yeah.
respawn.
Yeah, they respawn as
They
children.
respawn
They're children that are able
randomly.
to kill people in the most violent possible
Oh,
ways.
that was so fucked up. Like
Based
that's how
on-
it starts. They come back and they kill a whole bunch of people
Do
like
they-
immediately.
Do they respawn together or separately?
Yes.
together.
So they
They're-
respawn together.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. And I
and-
assume they kill people based off of like pestilence and
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
the
So-
Pestilence,
things are.
war, and
And famine.
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 And
Yeah.
they realize that something's up because only 3 of them came back.
Uh-oh.
Because they're supposed to respawn
So
together.
they don't necessarily remember how they died?
I think they're a little fuzzy on that part. If I
But
remember correctly.
they're super pissed to death
very angry.
Because
They
he's
are-
not there.
because he's not there because he fell in love with a woman and stayed there the whole time.
Yoko broke him up, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. And
She was Asian too.
That
She is
fucking
Asian, yeah, that's
Makes sense. Makes sense.
She's the ruler of China's daughter, whatever they call the new China. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, I can't remember it either, unfortunately.
4 Horsemen got Yoko'd.
Yeah.
Damn.
And basically the story is him finding out that he has a son and then trying to track down his son so he can reclaim him.
Because he's been led to believe this whole time that his son is dead.
Yes.
Right?
So Death is... He's no longer with Yoko?
No, they got separated.
She had a kid?
Yeah, so
and he didn't know about
to
it.
kind of spoil it, this is stuff that's like in the first like 4 or 5 issues.
Okay.
The breaking point is that the 3 horsemen figure out that he had this child.
Oh.
And they come to attack them so they can take the child.
So none of them have had children in the past thousands of years, I assume.
No.
Because none of them have like fallen in love and been with a woman. Like that was the first
Yoko,
one.
Dude. Asians and their sideways pussies, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Oh. But yeah,
Go on.
so he decides that he doesn't want to continue the cycle. So he stands up against the 3 of them. Something happens. Those 3 die. He doesn't, but he's led to believe that both his wife and his child are dead. Then he finds out, like at the time of the story happening, that that's not actually true, and he goes on just a fucking rampage, dude. It's some of the coolest shit ever.
Yeah, like the daughter's being held in prison, and the kid is being trained by the weird religion that they created. He's being trained to be the bringer of the apocalypse.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
They like have him, with like
But I mean that
goggles on and like feeding him information and shit.
is what his role is prophesied to be anyway.
Right.
But they're like trying to make sure it happens.
They're forcing it. So like
Okay.
instead of just letting him develop into like a piece of shit naturally, like they're just forcing him down that path.
Yeah.
And dude, it's so good. Like every character is well fleshed out. Like they spend like I don't know, like what, a good 2 or 3 issues on just a random side character that gets hired to track down Death. And like he's a fucking badass.
Oh, the cowboy guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fucking marshal.
Yeah. They're from the Republic of Texas.
Yeah.
What was he?
He's a
Ranger.
ranger.
He's a
Yeah,
Texas Ranger. Yeah.
Death becomes a Texas Ranger?
No.
The Ranger
Oh.
is sent to hunt down Death.
So they tell you the
And they
story
get in
about
a huge fight, and they kind of come to this mutual respect thing. But like it was kind of cool. Like, and they look weird. Like they got these big ass ski goggles.
yeah.
They're like attached to their cowboy hats
Everyone
and like
wears
breathing
ski
tubes.
goggles?
No, just
No,
the
the
Rangers.
Rangers.
Just the Rangers.
So like
They look like Ant-Man, honestly.
sort of kind of
In
yeah.
what year does this take place?
I don't know, like
Well, like-
2100, 2200, something like that. I don't know. Like it's weird. They never specifically name.
It's
a
in the
time.
future,
Sort of, kind of.
but the past is different, and this is the future that came out of that past.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And in that,
And there's 4 horsemen.
you know what else is weird about that future is the natives are like super technologically advanced.
Yeah.
Like
So they're the
all the
Wakandans.
technology in the world
Comes from them.
came from the stuff that Native
the
Americans
Wakandas.
decided. Yeah, pretty much. The stuff that they decided to share with everyone else.
Okay.
And they have technology way beyond that. Like they come to invade, and everyone's like, "Oh,
Fuck.
damn,
We are fucked.
yeah."
Like they usually just win just automatically whenever they
Yeah.
try to invade anybody.
they were super OP.
I like that.
Yeah, dude. It's one of the best comic book series.
Where
I've
did they
read in a long
fuck up? Texas? Was it Texas?
Yeah, they
they
fucked
just
up
wrecked.
Texas.
They just fucking wrecked Texas in like minutes.
Does Texas have it coming?
Huh?
Does Texas have it coming? More than the Confederacy?
You know, from their point of view, yeah, but from the point of the book, no.
Yeah. They were manipulated
got,
into
They
it.
got set up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, cause like on top of that, there's
It was
definitely
a
like
fucking
a
ambush.
bit of like Game of Thrones type intrigue where like people are like trying to set traps for each other.
People are poisoning people.
There's one guy who's like part of the religion that's bringing about the apocalypse, but he doesn't actually fucking believe in it.
Yeah.
So his goal is just to be like the last dude standing, and he's a piece of shit, man. But
Yeah.
he's probably the smartest character in the entire
Yeah.
book. It's really fucking good.
So, okay, so this is also hundreds of years after this religion was created
Mm-hmm.
around a crater.
Yeah.
This is very interesting.
Yeah,
It's a really good book.
it's super
Yeah.
engrossing.
Like I said, I read the whole thing in like 6 hours. Like I didn't put it down.
What's
at
your
all.
username and password for this comic book site?
Nice try.
It's Ghetto Yeti, and my password is
So it's David Faustino's porn password.
that's
Yeah,
correct.
obviously.
Okay.
Obviously.
I know that now, so we're good.
It's just Amazon. You just like $6 a month. You sign on it. Sign up through Amazon.
Yeah.
Super cheap.
More monthly things.
I know, more monthly things.
That originally kept me from signing up for it, but
Yeah.
But if you
they
read
usually
comics, it's worth it because one book costs $6.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they
that's
usually
fair.
have promos that give you like a month or two for free.
That's fair.
And not only that, but they also give you discounts on comics too.
Yeah.
So literally everything that they sell is at least 10% off if you have a Comixology Unlimited membership.
Okay.
So like,
If you want the physical version, but you can read most of it online anyway.
no,
right?
like if you want the digital stuff,
It's all
it's all digital.
It's all digital. I
But
mean, you can
it's-
still
so
buy
it's
books.
not all free.
Wait,
Not everything is free. Like there's some.
I just assumed that
both.
you signed up for the monthly and you just got.
there is a shitload of free stuff, like a ton. Like the
Like-
Darth Vader thing I'm reading is free.
Okay.
The East or West was free. There's a ton of free stuff, and they do like the Netflix. They make their own.
Yeah.
God, have you read any of their own stuff?
Yeah, some of it's alright.
Was
Netflix.
it like an Elephant Man or something
Yeah.
like that? Like, was that good? It keeps pimping that
don't-
one on me.
Netflix has
I don't know.
original comics.
No, they have original content.
Actually, they do now. Netflix does have comics.
No
Oh,
way.
Shit.
Yeah, they bought Mark Miller's company, the guy who wrote like Wanted,
Really?
Kingsman. Yeah,
I love
and,
Kingsman.
and now they have their own sets of comics that they're putting out.
Huh.
I'll be goddamn.
I'll be goddamned.
Good for them.
But I don't know, it's a good
That's
value.
what you get for trying to be an asshole.
I wasn't trying to be an asshole. I
Like
just
Netflix
am,
has comics.
I just am an
Yeah, they
asshole.
do. Oh.
Like this is how crazy Comixology Unlimited is. Like a couple months ago, they were having like weekly sales on recent trades of Marvel comics. And they were marking them down to 99 cents.
Oh wow,
And then they were giving me and anybody else, I guess,
just you.
10%. I think it was like 15% discount. Yeah, 15% discount on top of that. So basically, I was like buying entire trades for 84 cents.
Nice.
Dude, it's fucking insane. Like I have no clue how they're making money off of this.
Yeah,
Trades,
me either.
not individual comics.
Yeah,
no,
trades.
like full fucking paperbacks, man.
Yeah.
Dope as shit.
Full-ass
and the
books.
actual physical paperbacks.
No,
No. It's
The
all
di-
online.
okay, that's fine. I just was like blown away.
And they're great. Like if you have a tablet, like I have that Fire. We're not sponsored by Amazon,
This
by the
I
way.
was
We're
just
not.
gonna. I was just my mind was just going to. This episode is brought to you by.
But I have that Fire, and like it has this.
You, because it's
it has
a
a feature
Patreon
in the
episode.
book where you can look at each, like that's the way I read them. Each individual pane instead of the whole page.
Yeah, you're
And
talking about this.
you flip through it by each pane, each panel. It's fucking and it's
Yeah.
good. And then if there's something that's happening,
Sounds like a real pain.
if there's like something that's happening and it's like half the page, but there's like text or something that you need to look at, it'll show you each little piece of text and each little zoom in, and then the last one will show you the whole zoom out and give you the full picture of
Yeah.
what you just saw.
Like it makes shit like that a little cooler, actually.
Yeah.
Because like you get those little pieces and like you get to like soak in what's actually happening.
And then you
Don't-
zoom out and you're like,
like,
oh,
oh,
shit.
Oh, it was all one big pain.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Dude, it's awesome.
Yeah, Amazon's doing a really good job with it.
Yeah.
So
I've read so much shit that I would never have read.
Nice.
So do we have to grade this book?
I mean, if you want to.
What do we
We're
how do we
gonna. Do you want to
this?
set the bar with this one as the first episode of this?
Well, I just like how do we tell people they should read this or not, or just say go read this book because I liked it.
Well, I want to read it now because they're hearing you talk about it.
Yeah, it's actually really good.
Yeah, it's really, really good. I mean, we keep it simple, like read it or don't read it, I guess.
Yeah, I'll read it. I'll give it
Yeah.
a read it.
Read
100%.
it as quick as you fucking can.
I'm gonna give it a don't read it.
Because
What a
I
dick.
haven't
What a dick.
We can't all just agree.
Fair enough.
all the time.
Gotta have some conflict.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
say
go
just
read
hang
East
out
to
with these
West.
guys and listen to them talk about it, and that's good enough.
Get on the
Yeah.
Comixology or go down to your local store and buy it. I mean, really, that's what you should be doing.
That's what you should do.
That's what you should do.
but fuck, it's hard finding a good
But
shop.
we're not loaded. We
But
can't
they're-
be going down to the shops.
They're still getting a portion of this.
well, the
Or-
publisher is.
You know what?
Yeah.
Better yet, if you were hard set on finding a shop, if you go on Comixology, they will actually find you a shop.
Really?
Yeah, at the bottom of each one, like any comic book, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, there's a little link for buying a physical one, and they'll find you a
find a
comic book
store in
shop.
your area.
Well,
kind
here's
of
the
thing.
thing with buying the e-version, though, is it doesn't use paper, doesn't use ink. There's no one to distribute it, so it costs you less, and they probably get the same amount of money out of
No,
it.
it does not cost you less. It costs you the
They,
exact same
they
amount.
get more money out of it.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Maybe. Amazon probably gets more money out of it somehow.
Yeah.
But the comic book stores or whoever doesn't mark it up, etc.
Yeah.
It works itself out.
But yeah, go read it. It's
Yeah.
it's a really great book. If you like violence and you like watching children kill people, this is definitely the book for you.
Yeah. All right.
Chester.
I like being on the other end of that, but
All right.
okay.
You like getting murdered by children?
No, I like killing children.
You know, I'll take that because I was definitely expecting you to say you like killing that kid pussy. That's definitely something you would say.
All right, let's not turn this. Let's not turn this into a real "you guys are no fun" episode. All right.
All right.
All right. So thanks for listening to the inaugural episode of Trade Waiting. I'm Ryan.
I'm Charles.
I'm Chester. And I love killing kid pussy.
God damn it.